Bangladesh is a developing nation located in South Asia. For its history as a sovereign nation, it has had many difficulties economically, contributing to the populace having a low standard of living. However, in the 21st century, Bangladesh has started to transition to a more prosperous nation. Are there limitations that may hold a nation back from becoming richer? Let's find out. Bangladesh is a nation of nearly 170 million people, placing it 8th in the world in terms of population. The region that is now Bangladesh has been inhabited since prehistoric times. It was part of several ancient and classical empires, including the Mauryan and Gupta empires. The Buddhist Pala Empire and the Hindu Sena dynasty were also notable rulers. In the 16th century, the Mughal Empire took control, bringing a period of relative peace and prosperity. Dhaka became an important provincial capital. The decline of the Mughal Empire led to the rise of the British East India Company, which eventually led to full British control by the mid-19th century. The period was marked by economic exploitation and famines, but also the modernization of education and legal systems. In 1947, British India was partitioned into India and Pakistan. East Bengal became part of Pakistan and was renamed East Pakistan, leading to widespread language and cultural disparities with West Pakistan. The disparity and neglect by the central government led to the Bangladeshi Liberation War in 1971, supported by India. After a 9-month war and significant loss of life, Bangladesh declared independence on December 16, 1971. Since its independence, Bangladesh has faced political instability, military coups, and poverty. However, it has also made significant progress in areas like education, health, and economic development, becoming one of the world's fastest growing economies. This is good news, but are there any constraints that could slow down this progress? First, let's talk about Bangladesh's economy. Currently, the nation has a GDP of $1.4 trillion, placing it 27th in the world and the second largest economy in South Asia after India. Its per capita income is around $8,700 a year, higher than many poorer African nations, but poorer than the new Asian tiger economies such as Vietnam and the Philippines, and significantly poorer than industrialized nations. The GDP growth rate as of 2023 is 6%, very remarkable, and the unemployment rate is 5.2%, pretty good for a developing nation. The Human Development Index, a geographical gauge that measures the health, education, and per capita income of a nation, averages 0.661, classified as medium, but there are pronounced disparities, with Dhaka, the capital, at 0.745 high, and the rural district of Bandarban having the lowest at 0.598. Bangladesh's credit rating is BB-, which isn't the worst, but certainly isn't the best. There are both physical and human geographical limitations that may limit Bangladesh from becoming more prosperous. One obvious demographical one is population. Bangladesh has around 170 million people, ranked 8th globally in population. And to put this into perspective, physically it's about the same size as the state of Illinois, which only has 12.8 million people. Because of the population and size, the nation has one of the highest population densities in the world, averaging around 3,000 people per square mile. And internally, population projections show that Bangladesh is going to continue to grow to 200 million people in the next few decades. If the population grows and the GDP doesn't, this will mean that the per capita incomes would decrease, thus making the nation poorer. And in addition, human development indexes will also likely decrease. By being a developing nation, Bangladesh's economy is not very diversified. One primary sector industry is the garment industry. Bangladesh's economy is heavily reliant on the textile and garment industry, which accounts for a significant portion of its export earnings. This dependence makes the economy vulnerable to global market fluctuations and changes in consumer demand in the West. A strong infrastructure is key to a strong economy, but unfortunately, Bangladesh has a fairly weak one. The nation faces many shortcomings infrastructurally, including inadequate road and highway systems, power-related issues, and a lack of access to clean drinking water. Regarding water quality, health can be compromised as those who drink polluted water may become very sick. Furthermore, diseases like malaria and tuberculosis that have been eradicated in the developed world continue to plague the nation. Although Bangladesh has somewhat stabilized politically, there are still negative factors. While the nation is considered a parliamentary republic, it's also classified as an authoritarian regime. In addition, there are many human rights issues associated with non-Bengali individuals, non-Muslims, homosexuals, and women. Bangladesh's physical location makes it very vulnerable to many natural disasters. Much of the nation is on a flat coastal plain between the Bay of Bengal and the Himalayan mountains. This precarious area is highly susceptible to natural disasters such as cyclones, floods, and rising sea levels due to climate change. These events can have devastating impacts on agriculture, infrastructure, and livelihoods. Is there a day that Bangladesh will become a developed, industrialized nation? It's possible, but it might be an uphill journey. One thing Bangladesh has to do is to diversify their economy. By doing this, the nation can guarantee that multiple sectors of the economy are benefiting the population. However, advanced industrial and service sectors need an educated society. The average adult literacy rate in Bangladesh is 74.7%, which is quite low. But the average rate for people 15 to 24 years old, teenagers and young adults, is 94.9%, significantly higher. This is good news considering that this age group will be the next to enter the workforce. So, for the future, this may benefit Bangladesh's economy. Governmentally, political corruption must be tamed. The nation is considered one of the more corrupt countries in the world, and usually, corruption hurts economic development. Since internal corruption can be incredibly difficult to get rid of, this is easier said than done. However, one thing that may change this is the younger population, who tend to be more progressive. Their ideologies may ultimately transition Bangladesh into a more stabilized working democracy. And the physical and human geographical issue that must be addressed is the fragileness of the Bengali infrastructure, especially when frequent natural disasters affect the nation. While natural disasters may even damage the best infrastructural projects, unstable ones like Bangladesh have is more vulnerable. If a more viable infrastructure is constructed and maintained, natural disasters will have a harder time severely damaging them. Other Asian nations that were relatively poor in the past are becoming more prosperous. One group of nations are the new Asian tigers, which include the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand. All these nations have seen rapidly growing GDPs thanks to mostly foreign direct investment, in part to these nations diversifying economically. There is a chance that Bangladesh may become a new Asian tiger, and in fact, some economists already say it is. If the GDP growth continues, this will allow Bangladesh to become more economically powerful. Do you think that Bangladesh has a chance to become more prosperous? Please share your input in the comments section below. Thanks once again for watching this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you like geography and earth science content, be sure to subscribe to my channel, Our World, Our Planet, Our Home. Until next time.